Welcome to Double Down University. I'm back at you guys with the college basketball prospects video for February the 1st. And I'm kind of going to be going through like different segments or time segments today because this board is pretty big. And I just want to kind of target the early games on this video. So just the 6:30 matchups that's getting ready to take place in about 2.5-3 hours. So the first one I have for you guys is ACAT over 7.5 points, and then I also have Zach Edey over 21.5 points, and then last but not least, Jalen Pickett over 15.5 points. So let's get into it. So Mr. ACAT, as I was looking at his numbers, his split stood out to me for home and away. As you can see, he averages more minutes at home. He averages 8.4 points per game at home, as well as his 3-point percentage has a 24% boost at home as opposed to on the road, and he shoots 3.6 3-pointers attempted as opposed to 2.4 on the road. So I really like that. And then also his last 4 games at home, he has covered this number of 7.5. He has actually cleared it with 9 or 10 plus in every matchup the last 4. So I really like this spot for him. Seems like he's starting to regain gain some of his confidence back as far as shooting wise. So I really like him in this spot right here against Creighton. Keep in mind though, this is a big spread, so I think it's like a 10 to 12 point spread going Creighton's way, as Georgetown's are underdogs because they can't guard a parked car on defense, and they always struggle with scoring on the offensive end. So I think he can be able to put up and provide his 8 points. The reason I kind of favor him too as well is because I can kind of see his minutes getting bumped up too, because Wahab is a walking foul, the starting center for Georgetown. So if he gets in early foul trouble, he'll have to sit. So they will have to stretch out ACOT's minutes, but he plays a large portion of minutes regardless. So I wouldn't be too concerned or too worried about that. He doesn't really get into foul trouble as much. He's had is 3 fouls, which is pretty good, and everything else is 2 or less. So really like this spot for him as well. So moving on to the next matchup with Purdue versus Penn State. So in this matchup, Penn State offensively, they have an analytical edge of near proximity shooting, but they don't have an advantage in 3-point or mid-range. But if you watch Penn State play, they are a heavy 3-point shooting team. They rely mostly all the time on just 3-point shooting. I kind of was looking through the board, and I just didn't see Pickett's. I didn't see his assist up there, which I was really interested in because that's just the type of player that he is. He's an initiator. He tries to get everybody involved. And his rebounds, I wanted to take it at 6.5, but they bumped it up to 7. So actually, they don't even have his rebounds up there or assists. They just have Lundy for both of those, I think, or just Lundy for rebounds. So only thing you can kind of play is just his points, which is pretty weird. But I think he should be able to get to 16. He has hit this number in 13 out of his 21 games played this year. And then last time he played against Purdue, he had 26 points, 9 rebounds, and 8 assists. So he does it all for Penn State. He reminds me, I said this in a previous video about a couple months ago when I had did one of his props earlier in the year, but he reminds me of James Harden's role with the Sixers. If you're familiar with the NBA and watch the NBA, he's kind of that first initiator of the offense, and then he tries to look for his shot, and then he gets boards and things of that nature. So he does it all. But I kind of just want to stick to his points here. The only concern here is that as he is the main initiator of their offense, that Purdue might try to double him. And then same could be said for the last pick with Zach Edey. And I'll tell you why that kind of pretty much won't work for Zach Edey. But so I like Pickett in this spot to get 15.5 points. But moving on to our last guy, Mr. Zach Edey. So the biggest thing I noticed, I went back and watched them play against Penn State earlier in the year. And the biggest thing I noticed was just the size difference of him compared to all of the defenders that Penn State tried to put on him. They tried to double him, but when I went back and I looked at their roster, they only have 2 players that are 6'10 or better, or taller, I should say, which is Demetrius Lilly, who barely plays, and then they also have this guy Keba Najai. So he's 6'10" as well. He's a freshman. So they don't really trust a lot of their freshmen to be out there and defending most of the time. So the toughest or the tallest person they could probably put at him would be let's see here. A lot of these guys are guards / forwards. So Mafe, and then Dorsey, as well as Dredd. He'd kind of be like a guard / forward. He has the girth, like he's 235, so they could put him on him. But anybody you put on him, he's gonna cook them because he's just taller than everybody, and he just loved that jump hook, so he can get easy points if he's close to the rim. And a lot of their offense to Purdue was run through the post, so they try to get him his paint touches first, and then they'll either pass out of that or kick out because of that. So I really like this spot for him. He has hit this number in, I think, 10 games out of 21 of going over 21 and a half. But also when you look at his home splits, he plays a little bit more minutes on the road as opposed to home, but then a lot of that is skewed because they don't have the equal amount of games. As you can see, he's played probably like 3 or 4 games less on the road as he's done at home. So, and he averages 22.8 points per game at home, 75% free throw shooter, as well as he's not a 3-point shooter at all. Most of his stuff comes around the rim, off of putbacks, offensive rebound, putbacks, and things of that nature. Just getting fouled. He has a knack for getting fouled, so I can see him getting the Penn State bigs into foul trouble. So I really like these 3 right here. So I go back through them. I have Akai over 7.5 points, Zach Edey over 21.5 points, and Jalen Pickett over 15.5 points. I appreciate you guys. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And then I will also be releasing more videos throughout the day on the later slate of games. So more than likely of these later slate of games, I will be releasing something, because it's just a lot of games to go through, and they all have different like time frames. So I just want to kind of get the early games to you guys early so you can lock them in before game time. And then the later games, you'll have a little bit more time to lock those in. But so be on the lookout for the later videos, and I'll see you guys next time.